And welcome back to IdrA Helsinki Digi Expo, where we're having the ASUS ROG Stars Invite Tournament show matches, which is brought to you by NVIDIA and ASUS. We are ready to start the next match, which is going to be between WhiteRa and IdrA. So without further ado, because of scheduling, please welcome to the stage IdrA. So IdrA, 7,000 down, 1 to go.
Yeah, let's hope it goes as well as the last ones.
Yeah, so you're going to clean up the whole tournament, right?
That's my intent, yeah.
That's great. So, WhiteRa, to the stage from Thermal Take. Oh. So you have a time now. You have now a great time to redeem yourself from last time. Do you think you can beat IdrA now?
I don't know. I can beat or no, but I'm pretty sure I today play better than yesterday.
And with great special touches, I presume.
Of course.
Naturally. So, if you please, take your places. Casters, take it away.
One of the rare opportunities that we get to see in the same tournament, a rematch between these two players after one of them has already won the tournament.
Yes, and IdrA 3-0 against WhiteRa yesterday. Looked rather convincing throughout every single game we've seen him so far, only dropping 3 maps the entire of the Invitational, and including today as well. Looking on fantastic form, but head-to-head, IdrA and WhiteRa, including Starcraft 1, has always been heavily favored in IdrA's favor. It's roughly 80%, if not more. And in Starcraft 2, it's like 11, 12 wins for IdrA and a measly 2 for WhiteRa. And that was at IPL 3, where IdrA had just come back from China and was a little bit jet-lagged within that group stage as well. So not really a balanced match between these guys in terms of previous results. But the one big advantage going into this game I see for WhiteRa, it's a best of 3. It's not a best of 5, and that best of 5, best of 7, as we talked yesterday, will always favor IdrA. The longer the series, the less or the more kind of cheeky strategies are available for WhiteRa to use. So IdrA will then be able to close down the series with his stability. But in a best of 3, 2 wins can win the game very easily.
Yeah, much more volatile matchup, much more opportunity to pull out something a little bit unexpected. You don't have the time to necessarily adapt to your opponent's strategies running through a best of 5. The psychology is completely different. We saw how IdrA was able to build upon the success of previous games as you went through that best of 5 series with WhiteRa, and was able to shut down what WhiteRa's logical responses would be. But in this best of 3, the slate is, as far as I'm concerned, wiped clean. And as a result, we are going to have a really interesting series.
And just looking at the map vetoes once again, pretty standard for IdrA, I suppose. Zelnaga Cavern's out the way. The Shattered Temple as well, just simply because of that third base, rather difficult to take. And he doesn't really like to go on this map, especially 2-base Spire. It is viable, but not something he wants to do. He doesn't want to filter his options either. And I'm looking at the other vetoes. Shakur's Plateau, surprisingly out for WhiteRa. And also Metalopus, leaving us with the same map pool again for this Zerg versus Protoss. MLG, Antigua Shipyard, Cross only, which is the first map we are going to go into. Second map, Terminus SE, and Tal'Darim also the final map if needed.
And we'll see if it is needed. Hopefully it will be. WhiteRa, I know, has said himself that he's not exactly been playing up to his full potential. He's not really been on form, but he's feeling much more confident today. So we'll see how it turns out for him. I'm hoping to see a really good matchup from both of these guys. Will IdrA be able to walk away with the maximum available prize money of $8,000, having won 2 show matches plus the tournament, or will WhiteRa be able to steal that honor away from him?
I don't know. I really don't think that IdrA is going to drop this series, to be honest. I really think the way and the games we've seen him play, especially against Huck, just hours ago, of how well he currently is playing in his form as well, he seems almost unbeatable right now. He's in a great mood. He's had fantastic results recently. I mean, even if he hasn't won that much recently, he's literally won like $20,000 in a single month. That's a lot of money. He's feeling great about everything. The game is good for him. He doesn't like Protoss still, of course, but overall, he's just feeling great, and he's playing great too, and you can really see his mood outside the game displaying in the game.
Yeah. Very cool, very calm, very collected, very confident IdrA. That's scary. We don't want that.
Yeah. And
at least if we happen to be playing against him at any rate.
And it is a rematch on Antigua Shipyard as well, remember, from yesterday where WhiteRa struggled to get that 4th base. He tried so hard, and one of the big things that stopped him doing that was just cannon placement. Having been closer to the center, he would have been able to fortify that area. Will he be able to do it this time? We'll have to find out.
We will indeed. Antigua Shipyard, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of this best-of-3 series in the ASUS Republic of Gamers Stars Invite Tournament. It's brought to you by ASUS and NVIDIA. These are the community show matches as voted by you. We had Elfie versus Show earlier, and then this is the 3rd of 4 voted for matches. And it's my pleasure to bring you in the blue trunks over to the east of the Antigua Shipyard, representing Team Evil Geniuses, the champion of the ASUS ROG, and currently also the winner of his first of 2 show matches in this series. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for IdrA. And his opponents, who unfortunately he has not been doing so well in this tournament, did manage to make it through after an incredible comeback in the round of 8, but unfortunately falling in the round of 4. However, he is primed, he is ready to go, he is well prepared mentally and physically for this matchup. He is the Protoss player to the west in the red trunks. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for WhiteRa.
And look at this, straight away from IdrA, 12 spawning pool about to go down. Does get blocked by the probe, does slow it down a split second, but at the same time, IdrA immediately reacts and does throw it down anyway. And what this is designed to do is to keep Protoss honest. Make sure there are no cannon rushes as well that he can deal with a lot easier and doesn't drop the game straight away. But just thinking to WhiteRa's results from yesterday, he did, or not even yesterday, sorry, the day before, he did manage to beat Rhett. Rhett is one of the best Zerg players in Europe, and not only that, is that he come back from a 0-2 deficit and definitely showed us he's got the capability to beat a player like IdrA. And he's actually going to go Nexus first here. Very brave man here is WhiteRa. May need to build a pylon on the natural of IdrA to keep the Lings there. But the other thing I wanted to say as well is that WhiteRa can do anything. He is so unpredictable that this series, this close, really small best-of-3 series can go in his way.
Yeah, this scares me, though, because IdrA has gone to the 6 Lings, which is what you would think would happen if you're going to go with the 12 spawning pool and get it out that early, which indicates either pressure or, of course, to deny that pylon. But the thing is, I have a feeling that these Lings are just going to go straight all the way over the map. They're not even going to bother waiting around to see if a pylon goes in. And this wall-off has been delayed. The forge is up. The gateway is up. There is a pylon. Will he be able to finish the wall off?
He's going to have to wall off with another pylon to actually make a complete wall off. He might even need another gateway, to be honest. I don't think a pylon actually fits in there. We'll have to see as his money does start to climb. The cannon will not finish in time, so he has to wall this off.
Yeah, and he's got to do it right now. He must do it. There we go. There is the wall off complete. And waiting to the last possible moment because, hey, nothing better than stressed casters. And
Lings are about to retreat, and it is cancelled, and the Cybercore will now be replaced from that pylon. So even though IdrA did open up with a 12 spawner pool, he didn't really achieve anything this game.
Yeah.
And if you compare it to the game that they played on Tal'Darim just yesterday, IdrA actually managed to get into the base, was harassing the entire game long with a similar, if not exactly the same build. But now he has got sight range onto this probe as well. Is going to chase it down. WhiteRa checks for no fast third base. The 4-minute 30 mark has passed, and IdrA has not expanded there. So already WhiteRa is going to be asking himself some questions.
Yeah, well, it's like, what is WhiteRa doing? Is he going to apply yet more aggression against what could be very well a passive WhiteRa? We're seeing quite a lot of that lately, but also, once again, very unpredictable player. But the wall off earlier, definitely done, well timed, very cool, calm and confident, no panicking whatsoever from the veteran player, and having secured that Nexus fairly early, does have an economic lead.
And the third base does go down basically a minute later than it would have done if IdrA had gone for a later spawning pool. That's what that 12 spawning pool did. It delayed his economy, that third base, by a single minute here. And over in WhiteRa's base, he's saving up a lot of gas now. He's built a single stalker and also the warp gate research. He has not begun to research any upgrades from the forge yet. So I'm interested to see, is he going to be throwing down this Stargate very, very shortly here onto that natural and start harassing that third base? Because that was one of the mistakes as well he made yesterday, is he was messing around a little bit too much with Phoenixes, but never mind. Robotics facility goes down incredibly early here, and it looks like we are going to be seeing a very fast observer, but more importantly, Colossus come into play a lot earlier into this game.
Yeah, WhiteRa playing a nice straight up and classic style there, and I like that. That's good. That'll give him a great number of abilities going forward into this. If he's able to get in a strong timing attack, he'll do fantastic damage. The Roach Swarm coming down here for IdrA, plus a macro hatchery. Quite early on for the macro hatchery, honestly, in the base.
And we do have 3 gateways now gone down as well for WhiteRa, so I suppose he's going to be playing that defensive style, that passive style, to go and take an early third base. One Overlord does come in from IdrA, spots all 3 gateways, but doesn't really indicate too much for him yet. Doesn't see any key structures, doesn't know about the gas not taken on that natural, so we are going to be seeing a very fast third base. But look, IdrA already has an Overlord on that third base. I don't think it will quite see the Nexus though, but already Lings are in production. They are going to go and start harassing that rocks, or those debris, should I say, really, on that third base of WhiteRa.
Yeah, starting to work his way through there would be a good idea. It does take a long time, but every second counts. You've got to start poking your way through there to make it weaker so that you can assault it later in the game. Timing is everything. IdrA coming in with a little bit of poking with these very slow Lings. It's amazing how long he actually delayed getting Ling speed. It only has just started on just past the 8-minute mark, and WhiteRa now establishing his defenses up to the top, and I think that IdrA is well aware of what was there, considering the positioning of the sentries. He didn't see the base go down, but he's certainly suspecting it.
He's expecting Stargate units to come out right now, as we can see, or not just Stargate units, but probably Warp Prison 2, as that is on the way. But he's strategically placed 3 Spore Crawlers, which is a lot of money to invest in, onto every single base here. There's also protection against Dark Templar as well. Just simply because he didn't scout anything aside from those 3-4 gateways been added on into the main base, and that Warp Prism now is out and is loaded, will be loaded now with 4 Zealots, and will be going into the main base of IdrA. But the Observer does spot the Spore Crawler, so he will be able to kind of avoid that.
Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful where he drops. Dropping into the main mineral line directly is not really an option with that Spore Crawler there. He'd have to drop slightly outside and then kill the Spore Crawler. That does take a little bit of time. Alternatively, he just could drop the 4 Zealots and then kill everything on the mineral line and simply not choose to move the Warp Prism directly into it. We're about to find out. He takes a couple of hits from it as he decides to drop very close. He can afford that. The shields will be charged. Ling's coming in to try and intercept right here with this harassment. The Queen in the mix as well. Not quite enough Lings. The 4 Zealots are still alive, but Roach is now coming in. The Queen will die, and a few workers here and there, I would imagine. The harassment hasn't been that effective there, but he's now in the natural with another force of 4 Zealots. Continuing this harassment, the Roach is trying to react to that as fast as possible. WhiteRa might want to try and evacuate those Zealots, since they will be killed by the Roaches. He's moving backwards into a defensive posture. I think he's just going to sacrifice them. He's not too worried, and may even try for yet another warp in on the third.
Oh, I guess the Queen, that's so big actually, because he killed the Queen in the main base as well, which is going to halt the production of IdrA. He has to wait for another Queen to be made, and it looks like WhiteRa may be looking to go ahead and deploy once again onto the third base. IdrA responds with a Spire to get rid of this Warp Prism, and here we are going to see 4 more Zealots come in, but these Roaches should be enough to deal with this quite easily here, and I don't think this third Warp in would be effective for WhiteRa to do.
Yeah, IdrA's deliberately holding that back, but WhiteRa's smart, thinking, all right, well, obviously he knows I'm there. I've been sitting on the creep for this long. I can't warp in there. Maybe trying to draw those Roaches out of position for another attack on the natural. In the background of this, we've had very much a macro-orientated WhiteRa. He's been building up this force. Double robotics facility and double immortals here.
Yeah, this is really unique, actually, going for double immortals. He can always later on switch to double Colossus as well, but knowing that IdrA, and he also watched this series as well, by the way, against Huck, knowing that IdrA is going for this Ling Roach, this very similar style to Stefano, and then rushing into Hive and into Broodlords, and he knows the danger of holding this third base, exactly like we saw against Huck earlier. Here are the Lings on the left-hand side. Roach is right on the front. So he's going to be able to use these immortals. He has 4 in total now to crush this army. But 11 Mutalisks are on the way, and I'm not sure how effective they will be. They could do a lot of damage because I don't think WhiteRa has any idea about it.
Well, more harassment right here into the mineral line. 3 zealots into the 3rd, and the lings and roaches are actually falling back now as a direct result of that. And down goes yet another zealot into the natural. More damage being done. The mineral line did take some losses, not as many as perhaps WhiteRa would have liked. He's going on a queen assassination mission again. A little bit of regicide going on here, and down it goes. Really nice play there by WhiteRa, and IdrA able to shut down some of the harassment. Another queen almost dies. 3 HP for a single zealot going on there. IdrA not able to respond to that one quite fast enough. He really does not want his opponent having any queens.
And now the mutas have been shown as well, so immediately WhiteRa has to cannon every single mineral line. He is researching Blink. He has got a Templar Archives up, so he's gone for this Zealot Charge, Archon style, very gateway heavy army, and can also use Storm later on as well. But he has to defend well against these mutalisks. 8 more are in production, gonna lead him up to a total of 19. Blink is not ready yet, and probes are gonna die.
Yes, they are, and he will be able to drive them away eventually, but yes, the loss there, not so great. He wasn't really all that saturated on that line anyway, so the losses were fairly minimal, but the concern is that it goes into this much heavier line over here. Guardian Shield going up to try and defend those and bring it down as quickly as possible. Focusing Fire tried to bring down a sentry, didn't do it, maybe overcommit just a little bit, but there's a lot of Stalkers there. That's not good for IdrA at all. WhiteRa with salvo after salvo, plowing into that Mutalisk flock as it tries to escape as rapidly as possible.
Excellent play here from WhiteRa, really coming out so much different to how we played against IdrA yesterday, and all of a sudden IdRA's left in a lot of trouble. Look at how many spine crawlers are going to be placed in the center of this map now for IdrA. He knows he is in trouble because WhiteRa has basically countered Mutalisk immediately. He also has Blink about to finish, Archon's on the way as well, and this army that WhiteRa has is actually larger than IdrA's right now. It's more powerful as well at 2-1 upgrades. IdrA's upgrades are just 1-0 for his Zerglings and 1-0 for his Roaches. He does have +1 on his Mutalisk. IdrA has to keep WhiteRa inside his base, but with these 2 strategically placed cannons on the main mineral line, IdrA cannot get in.
Yeah, WhiteRa needs to start rolling out right now. He doesn't want to wait for too long. There will be some harassment here, but a huge force of Blink Stalkers jumps on IdrA's mutas again, driving them away, and they'll be able to catch up to the main force as it moves across the map at the speed of the Immortals. This is looking like a really dangerous push.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can engage into all these spine crawls, but he can definitely take the rocks down and then go up onto the 3rd. Seeing there's no 4th base is probably pretty good, but the 4th base is in a weird location. It's at the south one.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have a time to comment on that, but he did build that at the south. Whatever the case, look at how fast Immortals slaughter spine crawlers, especially with the Archons tanking the majority of that damage. This crushing Death Ball with a huge number of Immortals is going to absolutely destroy this Roach count. There's a big blink backwards as the Mutalisks have to engage. They're forced to. He must bring them into combat. He has nothing else to do that. The Roach is melting on all sides right here. A huge aggressive blink. Can he take down